very early because believe it or not, he was on the county team, senior team in 1955.
Right.
And that's why he wasn't on the junior team in 66.
In 56.
Or 56.
Yes.
Now, there's one fella there who played very good football for Scotstown, and I'm surprised that he wasn't on the 60-61 team, and that was Hughie Conley.
Well, the reason for that, Mackie, is that Hughie Conley, in fact, had emigrated to America, along with a lot of other Knockatallon fellas.
There was a John McKenna too, John Padley they called him. He was an excellent footballer. I was surprised that Scottstown didn't have him.
Again, John was one of the people who emigrated in the 50s.
And there was a Hugh fellow.
A brother of John,
right.
Both cousins of my own, but and another brother called Fred. And Jimmy.
Aye.
In fact, they all played for Knockatallon, but all emigrated to America.
Because Fred was on later Scotstown teams in the mid-60s.
Yeah, like Hughie Conley, he came home again and resumed his playing career.
Yeah.
By this stage, Knockatallon, of course, had gone.
Yeah. You talked about there, Seán, you mentioned the Blaney 5 in a row. Did they do the 5 in a row, did they?
They did the 5 in a row. And
in the 60s?
In the 60s. In fact, we beat them going for 6 in a row in 1968.
All right. So that's the one that was played in Gavin Duffy, isn't that right?
That's right. I think that year, 68, is remembered probably because it was after extra time in a replay that Scotstown finally got the better of them to stop them going for the 6 in a row.
Did Liam Sturrett score a goal that day?
That's right. Liam scored a very vital goal in that game. In fact, Liam was established on the team at that time, and of course Liam represented both club and county at all levels. And I suppose Liam went on to greater things in a way. He was probably Scotstown's most successful team manager ever. Among his achievements as team manager, he guided Scotstown to 5 in a row of senior football championships,
county championships,
and also was the manager of the 4 teams that won Ulster Club champions. Liam then, after all that, went on to serve at county board level, and he, among many roles that he served the county board in, he became county chairman, and is in fact currently Monaghan's representative to Croke Park.
And I think he might have been a county team manager as well.
He also was county team manager for a few years. So
he's Monaghan's delegate at the Central Council then?
Currently.
Oh, good.
I suppose you could say about Liam, he has been one of the high achievers from the club in serving the association.
So who did you beat then in the 68 final, or who did you play in the final?
Well, the final was very disappointing because obviously after beating Blaney, we all thought we had it won. And we went on to lose the final to Clontibret in 1968.
You don't remember the score by any chance?
I don't remember the score, but it was a close enough game.
No, I remember it was very, very disappointing, Seán, because it was a very poor show really from Scotstown, particularly in the second half, you know.
That's right.
Scotstown held their first dinner dance in the Creighton Hotel, Clones, in 1968. Now, just about, I know 68 was hard to take, Seán, and it must have been a bit of a downer for the club, you know?
Yeah, 68 was certainly a disappointment, but we had some compensation in that we won the league again that year.
That's the 68 league?
The 68 league, yeah.
So it would have been hard enough to get some of these competitions finished.
I think it was the Own World Cup, but anyway, it was the senior league, and in fact it was the only year that I ever remember it being played as a league, and whoever finished on top of the league were winners. There was no final.
There was no final?
There was no final.
Oh, I see. So that was 68, and then you're into 69 then?
Yeah, well, Scotstown had, at senior level, had a lean enough year or two after that.
Yeah.
But 69 was the year of the great minor team. And that minor team won the championship in 69 was certainly the players, a lot of players that came through from that team were big movers at senior level in the 70s.
You're talking about your 69 minor team. That would have been... was a long gap, Seán, when there was no minor honours to the parish.
Yeah, in fact, I think
championship honours.
That's right. I think it was it was the first championship to come to the parish from 1957 or
57
or 58 when Scotstown, when Knockatown in fact won it.
That's right, 57.
I think you were on that team yourself, Maggie.
I was there anyway. Put it like that, you know. But yeah, 69. That was a very good minor team. I remember they played Dunamine. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's right. In fact, it was played on a week evening, which to my mind didn't do minor football. There was a minor final.
There was a John Gilson fella who was a very good footballer.
Yeah, Dunamine had a very good team.
And his father, in fact, was I think his father was a sort of a team mentor or something like that, you know.
That's right. He also had a brother, Matty, on that team,
Matty Gilson,
who died a young man.
Oh dear.
A young man since.
Yeah. And other lads on that minor team too, Seán?
Yeah, well, other lads on that minor team that I can remember was John Mullen was in goals.
Right.
And of course Martin Carville was captain of the team.
Right.
Brendan Lillis and Gerard McCaig were also on that team.
Right.
Cormac Morgan and Martin Began were on that.
That's your fella.
That's right, and Martin Began were on that team.
Oh,
so you can see a good few of those players came through
and then,
to go on to play good senior football later.
Louis McLeave, he played a bit of football too.
Louis McLeave, Packy McCarn, Rice Derrett.
And Seamus Sheridan.
Seamus Sheridan was on that team.
He's a guard now. I think he's down in Enniscorthy.
Is that where he is? Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Seamus was a great prospect, but as a guard he was away from home.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that 3 members of that team died as young men. Seamus Deary, Anthony Cadden and Seán McElvanny. They all died as very young men.
Right. So that's the 69 minor team. So I have a notion now that I know where we're going. We're heading for the development of that team into the good team.
That's right.
Because I think about 71, I think I'm right in saying that Seán McCaig was more or less in charge of the team around a bit.
That's right. Seán McCaig became team manager. I think it was in 1971.
Yeah. But was there such a thing as a team manager?
No, I think he was the first. He was the first actual team manager.
Right.
And as a team manager,
was he designated as a team manager?
He was designated as a team manager, and in fact, he would pick his selectors or his helpers.
Right.
And that was the first time that had happened in the club. And Seán. You could see the success coming along.
Yeah.
I think they won a league in 70 or 71.
That's the senior league.
That's right.
That's right. That was 72, Seán. I think.
72. That's right.
I think so. Yeah.
72. But the thing that you know where Scotstown started to show that they had real talent was in the big tournaments that were played throughout the region.
Right. So then, Seán, we're moving into. I forget what happened in '83, and sometimes it's best to forget these things. But not '83, but '73. But we're moving now into '74.
Yeah, '74 was a great year for Scotstown at senior level. They regained the senior championship.
Yeah.
First time in 13 years, I think it was.
That's right.
And that stopped Blaney again for going.
Blaney, they seem to be your greatest rivals.
They were the team you had to beat.
Yeah, yeah.
You had to beat them to win the championship somehow along the line.
And it would have been your good minor team of '69 that was backbone in that.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and your captain.
Your captain again was Martin McCarville, who in fact had captained the '69 minor team.
Yeah. I like to look back on the photographs. There's one very spectacular photograph of that '74 final, and it's one of Joey Brady. Do you know the photograph I'm referring to?
I do, and in fact, you know, that photograph could have been taken 3 or 4 times that day because Joey ruled the square on a high ball that day. And made a big contribution towards. Yeah,
because he had played do you remember he had played as a cornerback and maybe even a fullback for the county before he left?
Yeah, as you know, he had been taken home from America for that game. Yeah. And he certainly paid his way.
Yeah, in other words, he ruled the square.
He ruled the square.
That's the game that the boys can all be proud of because I remember Gerard McCaig now, you know.
Gerard McCaig scored a great goal that day. Yeah. Anthony Cadden scored 3 or 4.
I think I have a notion Gerard scored about 3 points as well.
As well, yeah.
And Anthony Cadden, he scored 4 points. I think they were mainly off frees, you know, but he had a very good game, you know. And Big Larry was Big Larry playing that time.
Big Larry was playing that time, and
Big Larry McKenna.
That's right. Martin McCarville, I think, was marking him that
Right.
day and played him very well.
Big Larry was an Armagh man.
That's right. Yeah.
The whole talk. I was living in Blaney at the time.
Yes.
So I remember the whole talk at the time was Big Larry, because
Yes.
the Blaney thought, Blaney men thought he was a god. You know.
Well, the Scotstown team as a whole played very well that day. You know, I can also remember Eamon Keenan had a fantastic game that day.
That's right. It was good. It was great, and so.
That year, in fact, Mackie, as well, was Scotstown's first venture into the Ulster Club Championship.
All right. Well, before that, Seán, you know, there was another thing which I wanted to comment on. I suppose you might be too modest to comment on it. And it was about a record that your family, the Morgans, established that day. So I'd like you yourself to comment on it, you know.
Well, myself, Shamey, Cormac and Brian won medals that day.
Right.
It has been suggested that maybe that was a record that
I think,
for 4 brothers to win it on the one day.
But we'll leave it at that, Seán. Anyway, you talked about moving into the Ulster Club Championship.
Yeah.
So that was Scotstown's first time.
It was.
But you know, the Ulster Club Championship had actually been running a few years.
Oh, of course it had, but Scotstown weren't champions. So
I have a notion that a Derry team might have been the first team to win an All-Ireland Championship, you know, a team from, I don't know where. Yeah. But anyway, it was Scotstown's first run at it.
It was, and the first round we came up against the current Ulster champions, Clonagale from Lurgan.
Right.
And it was a home game for Clonagale, so it wasn't an easy one.
Oh yeah, they were a good team, that Clonagale team.
But we gave a good account of ourselves. I think we were beaten by only a point in the end. So
that's it, Seán. We were at 1974, and we can look back with great satisfaction. There's one reason that I, in fact, would feel happy about, and it's you won a championship in '74. Now you had been playing, Seán, all the way from what, 62, I think, of that, you know.
Maybe 63,
or 63, and would I be right in saying that was your first senior championship?
First and only one.
Yeah, well, very good, Seán. Well, you know, the first one, Seán, is the sweetest.
And that's right.
And we'll leave it at that. Thanks a lot, Seán.
Okay, Maggie.